Here's a clip I forgot about of me destroying Charlie Kirk when he was asking me, a teacher, if teachers should be able to be fired at will.
Will.
At will is, what do you mean at will? For what cause?
If you're a bad teacher.
What do you mean by bad teacher?
I mean, you're on
No,
the line.
what do you mean by
know,
bad teacher?
Yeah, someone who doesn't listen to their students, doesn't.
He wants teachers not to listen to their students, at least when it comes to, their nicknames or, if they're trans and want to be called something else. Like, he doesn't want teachers to listen to their students, just to be clear, but continue.
Is not good at what they do, graded by other teachers.
For cause, not at will. Yes, we should fire teachers for cause.
Okay, but I think that do we have
So he just says, okay, his point is wrong, but he doesn't care, just gonna keep on going. Should have held him to that, but whatever.
too many teachers or not enough teachers?
In Hillsborough County alone, we're missing 1,200. Across the
I
state
reject
of Florida,
the premise.
He says, just moving on from the previous point of conversation, do we have too many teachers or not enough? Obviously not enough. And then he says he rejects that premise the minute I start talking to him. He rejects the premise of his own question.
Across the state of Florida,
we
there are
need is better.
5,000 teachers.
We need
That's
better.
50,000 students without an educator. You asked me a question. Let me finish.
Yeah, he talks over me as I'm giving him the answer with actual facts, with actual statistics that I know because I care about this issue. I'm not just trying to debate random people about it. I actually care about the truth, not just about, doing inflammatory bullshit. And he's talking over me during it. Like, I'm not going to stand for that. If he wants to talk to me, he's going to talk to me, not just talk at me.
We need better, higher paid teachers.
Yes, absolutely. And Florida has the 48th lowest average teacher pay.
Why do you think that is?
Usually when somebody asks me a question like that, I know what they're getting at. I don't even know what he's getting at there. Like, why do you think they have low pay? Because the Republicans are taking away from them and the Democrats aren't doing enough to give it to them. Like, what possible, right-wing reason could he give for that? That the Democrats aren't trying to pay teachers enough? Like, his problem is that they're trying to pay them too much.
Because we have a Republican-controlled state for the past 30 years that are increasingly taking away...
Again, doesn't care. He'll just talk over me.
Money for teachers.
But hold on. If I'm not mistaken, Florida is in the top 5, if not the number 1, on educational outcomes for students, right?
On them passing, not actual outcomes. On them passing.
So this is a critical point. Passing doesn't mean that they're getting a good education. It just means they're getting shoved through the system. The American education system is amazing at one thing: cramming information into kids' brains for a month, then letting them forget it and just passing them up through the chain. That's all it's good for. And unless you're rich and then you can afford a very good education. Charlie Kirk, uses this random statistic that Florida's number 1 in kids passing. I mean, he says educational outcomes. That's not true in kids passing. And that doesn't mean they're getting a good education. It just means they're getting shoved through. I point this out to him, but let's see if he cares.
So that's number 1 in the country, I think, though, right?
It's number 1 in the country in a statistic that doesn't matter. Charlie Kirk doesn't care about the education of kids. If he does, he'd be advocating for teacher pay actually. Instead, he goes to colleges and tries to tell kids that education is worthless because he's trying to make it more worthless. Later on, I call him out that, he's running a misinformation machine. We were talking about economic policy and education policy, like real stuff, even if he wasn't taking it seriously. And then I tell him, look, you want a bad education system because you thrive in an environment where people can't discern misinformation because he runs a misinformation machine. And so he immediately moves from economic and educational policy points into culture war BS, where he asks me, what is a woman? His stupid tagline. And then kicks me out, which to give him an actual answer. I should really go through more of that video where I was destroying him.